Who would have thought solar panels could create energy and a storm of controversy? Take, for instance, the real-life experience of a man from Georgia who installed solar panels on his roof, only to face shocking pushback. What started as a cost-saving move to save money on electricity became an unexpected legal battle with his homeowners association. This isn't just a story about one man and his solar panels. Most people would prefer to not live in a neighborhood with an HOA. In a recent survey, only 35% of residents in HOA-governed neighborhoods preferred living under such organizations and associations. The resistance of HOAs to homeowners' efforts in reducing their cost of electricity through solar panel adoption due to strict neighborhood regulations raises the question: why are HOAs opposed to solar energy? In this video, we'll explore stories where the quest for solar energy sparked a debate about rights, regulations, and the future of people's neighborhoods. We looked high and low for stories we think you'll enjoy about how HOAs have lost their minds. But first, what does a homeowners association do and who runs it? They seem to yield as much power as characters in The Sopranos, issuing decisions or extortions by mailbox. HOAs, the governing bodies of many residential communities, are more than just rule enforcers. They're often viewed as the dictators of neighborhoods. According to a 2020 report by the Community Association Institute, over 73 million Americans live in communities governed by HOAs. That's nearly 1 in 3 homes in the US. They're responsible for maintaining property values, with evidence suggesting that well-managed HOAs can boost home values by as much as 5%. But it's not all about aesthetics and property prices. Regarding solar panels, HOAs are at the forefront of a new challenge. They balance preserving the community's visual integrity with homeowners' desire to save on utility bills. With the rise in solar technology and the push toward greener living, HOAs are increasingly finding themselves in the position of gatekeepers between progress and tradition. A challenge some people have is the difference between an HOA board and an HOA management company. Where the board decides on actions on behalf of the HOA, the management company is responsible for the association's day-to-day operations. This includes granting permission for solar panels. You should confirm if there's a management company for your HOA so you know who to direct your solar applications to. But what happens if your HOA plays hardball? While more often than not, you'll be okay, some HOAs exercise their right to flex their power on their resident members. While most solar panel systems light smiles on owners' faces, some also light a fire with grumpy HOA boards.
Court's now in session, everybody rise.
From court battles
Domestic dispute.
to rooftop disputes, homeowners nationwide sometimes find themselves in a showdown with their HOA over solar panel installations. In a landmark case in North Carolina, the courts made a decision reverberating across the state when they sided with the Wake County homeowner who defied their HOA by installing rooftop solar. The court's verdict was clear. HOA powers have limits, especially when they trample on homeowners' rights to choose solar energy. This ruling didn't just settle a local dispute, it set a precedent reinforcing the rights of homeowners across North Carolina. Then there's Alex Betancourt, the man from Sinuhe, Georgia. He tried to go solar and his HOA was like, "No güey, Jose." The HOA rejected his solar panels as a violation of community standards and slapped him with a hefty $25 a day fine. Betancourt's story is a stark reminder of the ongoing tension between energy independence and the stringent aesthetic preferences of HOAs. Meanwhile, in Lincoln, Nebraska, Rosalind Carr's plan to save on her utility bill was met with a negative. Her HOA, prioritizing compliance over everything, ordered the panels removed. Carr agreed to remove the panels and donate them to the Habitat for Humanity. These stories paint a picture of a broader struggle. They highlight the complexities and conflicts between advancing renewable energy solutions and HOAs not trying to live like that. As solar technology becomes more accessible and people seek ways to save on rising costs, including electricity, these stories highlight the urgent need to help HOAs get right. More sensible HOAs, or the management companies that get paid a percentage of fees collected, will just slap an application fee and fill their coffers. But what drives an HOA to oppose solar panels, and how are state laws evolving to address this tension? There are 3 reasons why HOAs oppose solar panels. Frankly, it's irritating and makes you just want to hit something. So if you feel we've earned it, why don't you hit that subscribe button? For every subscribe we get, a yellow spot grows in a nasty HOA board member's lawn. Number 3 is the idea of uniform and aesthetic neighborhoods. HOAs argue that solar panels disrupt visual harmony. The clash isn't just about looks. It's a battle over control and the fear of setting precedents that might erode the HOA's authority. Some HOA board members are sticklers for rules and preside over the look of other people's homes with an iron fist. Number 2 are worries about the installation process and the technology itself. Some HOAs express concerns over potential damage to roofs or unsightly wiring. A competent installer will install in a way to placate reasonable HOAs. But perhaps the number 1 reason HOAs may oppose solar is resistance to change. Change is often met with hesitation, and solar panels represent a shift from traditional energy resources. Throw in a bit of a power trip, and you have a recipe for an HOA that doesn't have to be solar panel friendly. Also, remember, management companies make money from fines, and all of a sudden, you start to put it all together why HOAs can be so difficult. In some places, state legislators are entering the chat, where Alex Betancourt was fined $25 a day by his HOA. Certain states are stopping that nonsense. Indiana and Illinois enacted laws that limit HOA's power to deny solar panel installations. California goes a step further. You get an automatic yes if the HOA doesn't get back to you in a timely manner. Florida even prohibits an HOA from denying your request for solar panels. More states are understanding how important solar energy is and are making sure homeowners are offered protections against HOAs. What if you're installing solar and you live in a neighborhood with a homeowners association? Chances are good that you won't have any issues with your HOA, especially if you live in But either way, first things first, get familiar with your HOA's bylaws. See what they call for in the application instructions. It may be as simple as filling out a form and including a check, or as complicated as it doesn't need to be. So be like Mike and start reading, but don't focus just on your HOA. Engage with your neighbors too, as their support can make a difference. This is especially true if other neighbors have already installed the solars. If you're blazing a path and are the first in the neighborhood, revert to the previous suggestion. Read the bylaws. You may submit something between a form handwritten with data and a check to a series of forms requesting component specifications, permit drawings, measurement drawings, color samples, neighbor signatures, environmental studies, and a check. Surely some of you all have submitted an HOA application, so what was your experience like? I'm not kidding, by the way. I did have a customer back in 2015 who needed an environmental study about the effect of solar panels on birds. True story. Since 2017, DroneQuote has helped countless homeowners, many of whom were in an HOA neighborhood, install solar panels. However, in some cases, we've let people out of their contract because the HOA wouldn't budge. I'm dying to hear from you if you have some wild stories about solar panel installations in HOAs. Sure as I am brown, those stories are waiting to be heard because What is an HOA without drama and a sense of power over people?